Shalom, Israel. We are here again, the Israelites, not the Equalites, coming to delete the lies and download the truth. We are here today with our sister Hanaya, as well as our brother Yoram, and I am the prophet Shem. We are coming with our lesson title today. It says, News Alert, Israel, you're not Gentiles. And for so long, our people have wanted to be Gentiles. Every time you ask them, what are they? They say they're Gentiles. They don't know they're speaking about their demise. If they're saying that they're Gentiles, they're going to heaven. Hell, they're going to captivity because God hates the Gentiles. Am I right about it, brothers and sisters?
That's right.
God hates the Gentiles. So if you want to be a Gentile, you go right ahead and be a Gentile. Because let you know that God hates the Gentiles. And so we're here to let everyone know and understand this evening. We're going to break down some scriptures to let you know that you are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. And so we're going to have our brother Yoram. He's going to start us out today with the scriptures. Let's get it going, brother.
Acts chapter 11, verse 26.
Read, brother.
And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch.
Read.
And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people.
You see, they were called, they went there to Antioch, and they stayed a whole year teaching the people what? That they were Israelites and not Gentiles. It was teaching the people about what thus says our God, Yahweh. The people kept being confused about who they were. They didn't know their history. They didn't know who they were. So if you don't know who you are, it's impossible to know where you're going. That's why it's very, very important that you know who these people that the Bible talks about. You need to know who they are today.
Yes.
Because people say, well, what happened to the Israelites? Well, they just disappeared. No, they are still here right in front of your face. You see them every day. You need to start to identify who these people are by their biblical names and by the name that we call them today. Read on, brother.
And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch.
And the disciples, they were called Christians first at Antioch. They wasn't called no Gentiles. They weren't called no Pharisees. They weren't called no Christianity. Because you can't even find the word Christianity in the Bible. You can find Christian, and the Christians are those that what? That follow and do and obey what God says. Christianity is the people that follow a man-made doctrine. Baptist, Church of God in Christ, Jehovah Witness, Methodist, all those different denominations, those are man-made doctrines. And so you are followers of man and not followers of God. Because in order for you to be a Christian, you got to follow and do the things that he requires of you. But I can't find a Christianity person out there that want to do what God says. They want to do their own thing. They want to go on their emotions and feelings. They want to go by what the preachers say. But they don't want to go by what this Bible says. Read.
Matthew chapter 1, verse 21.
Read, sister.
And she shall bring forth a son.
And what?
She shall bring forth a son.
Mary shall bring forth a son.
And thou shalt call his name Jesus.
For
he shall save his people.
His what?
His people.
Wait a minute. I thought he was going to come and save the whole world.
He shall save his people
Read.
From their sins.
You see? Mary's going to bring forth a child. And his name is going to be called Yahweh, what we ignorantly call Jesus. He's going to what? Save his people.
That's right.
It didn't say that he was going to save everybody. It said that he was going to save his people. Very, possessive word. He's going to save his people from their sins. He didn't say that he was going to save anybody else. So he didn't come for the Gentiles. He came for the Israelites. So he was going to come and save his people, who our God, Yahweh, instructed him to come and deal with. Read.
Matthew chapter 4, verse 15.
Read, brother.
That the land of Zebulun,
The land of Zebulun, speaking of people of the northern kingdom, read.
and the land of Naphtali, by the way of the sea.
By the way of what?
By the way of the sea.
By the way of the sea.
Beyond Jordan. Galilee of the Gentiles.
Of who?
The Gentiles.
Of the Gentiles. See? And we're going to get down further into the lesson, and we're going to let you know why they was being referred to as Gentiles. Because something happened. Some things changed. And so we have to read that again, brother.
Matthew chapter 4, verse 15.
Read.
The land of Zebulun.
The northern kingdom.
And the land of Naphtali.
The northern kingdom.
By the way of the sea. Beyond Jordan.
Read.
Galilee of the Gentiles.
Read on. Read 16.
The people which sat in darkness.
The people which sat in darkness. Read on.
Saw great light. And to them which sat in the region and shadow of death, light is springing up.
You see, light was sprung up. Talking about God. The light had sprung up because they were what? They were in darkness. What do you mean by when they were in darkness? They were dealing with other gods. They were following different customs and traditions and laws. They turned away from their God and started dealing with what? The Grecians. They started dealing with the other people God. That's how a lot of them became Gentiles. Because they became Gentiles in custom, but not in flesh. Read.
Isaiah chapter 7, verse 8.
Read, sister.
For the head of Syria is Damascus,
Uh-huh.
and the head of Damascus is Rezin.
Read.
And within 65 years
Within 65 years,
shall Ephraim
uh-huh,
be broken, that it be not a people.
that it be not a people. Read that again, sister.
Isaiah chapter 7, verse 8.
Uh-huh.
For the head of Syria
Read.
is Damascus,
Uh-huh.
and the head of Damascus is Rezin.
See, we're talking about the places where we were in captivity at. Read.
And within 65 years
Uh-huh.
shall Ephraim broken, that it be not people.
Read 9, sister.
Verse 9. And the head of Ephraim is Samaria,
Uh-huh.
and the head of Samaria is Remela's
Read, sister.
son.
Uh-huh.
If ye will not believe, surely ye shall not be established.
You're not going to be established as a people because you don't believe in who? You don't believe in your God. You're dealing with a whole lot of other things. You're not dealing with the one true God. You're doing the same thing that your ancestors was doing. They were being very, very hard-headed and stiff-necked against their God. And he said, what? Read that last part, sister.
If ye will not believe,
If you would not believe,
surely ye shall not be established.
you would not be established. Well, that's saying you're not going to be established. You're not going to be a part of the tribes. That means you're not going to be one stick. That means that you're going to continue to be in Bolivia out there dealing with the other nation of people. That's what it's saying. Read.
Romans chapter 9, verse 24.
Read, brother.
Even us, whom he have called, not of Jews only.
Wait a minute. Read that again.
Even as whom.
Wait a minute. Read that again.
Romans chapter 9, verse 24.
Read.
Even us, whom he hath called.
Even us whom he has called.
Not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles.
See what he's saying? He's saying that read that one more time, brother. Read that one more time. And I'm going to explain to the people because this is this is what has a lot of people confused. We're going to get some clarity on this scripture. Read.
Romans chapter 9, verse 24. Even us,
talking about about the Jews. Read.
Whom he have called.
Who he hath called.
Not of the Jews
only,
but also of the Gentiles.
You became Gentile by traditions and customs. You became Gentiles when you cut yourself off from the southern kingdom. And Ephraim was the head of the northern kingdom. And they did a lot of detestable and bad things. And God hid his face from them. That's what they were called Gentiles. Gentiles in the customs. Gentile in their disobedience. They were following the same thing that the Grecians were following. They were talking about the Greeks. And they're talking about a lot of this stuff is about the Greek captivity. Where it don't speak a lot of here, but it speaks a lot of in the Apocrypha. That's right. And so we have to start to learning and putting these things together so we can get the clarification that we need so that we will be able to understand what this Bible is saying. Read. 25.
As he said also in Hosea.
As he also said in the book of Hosea. Read.
I will call them my people.
I will call them my people.
Which were not my people.
See, he said, I'm going to call them my people, which were not my people. Who is he talking about? He's talking about the Israelites that went astray. He's talking about the northern kingdom. Read, brother.
And her beloved, which was not beloved. And it shall come to pass.
And it shall come to pass.
That in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people. There shall they be called the children of the living God.
That's when they're going to get grafted back in. See, because he's trying to form in the book, like he's going to go to the book where it is in Romans, where they was talking about in the book of what? Hosea. 1 and 10. About the Israel shall be what? Like the sands of the sea. They can't be numbered. You see what I'm saying? And so what's happening here is that he's saying like you once was not my people, but now I'm grafting you back in where you guys can be one stick. Now you're going to be called the sons of the living God. Because before you were outcast. Because you were doing the same thing that the pagan people were doing. And Ephraim was in charge of all the other people in the northern kingdom. And they had taught them people, they had went astray. So somebody get Sister Hanaya, get the book of Hosea chapter 7 and read me verses 8 and 9.
Hosea chapter 7. Verse 8 and 9.
Read.
Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people.
He has done what?
Mixed himself among the people.
See? Ephraim, the northern kingdom, they done mixed themselves among the people. Read.
Ephraim is a cake not turned.
Ephraim is a cake not turned. Why is saying that? Because Ephraim is mixing himself with the other people. They're having sex with the other people. Now their kids are coming out not looking like they're supposed to be looking. Read, sister.
Verse 9. Strangers have devoured his strength.
The other people, the heathen, they have devoured their strength.
And he knoweth not.
And they don't even know it.
Yea, gray hairs are here.
And they done got old. They did this stuff. They started doing this stuff when they were young. Now they old and gray-headed, and they still won't change from their wicked ways. Read.
And there upon him, yet he knoweth not.
See? Evil is upon you and you know it not. You see what I'm saying? That's what it's talking about when it's talking about in this book of Romans. When it's talking in Romans about the different people and how he was going to take these people that wasn't his people once before. And now he's going to bring these people back into the fold. Ephraim was a cape, not turned. They went astray first. See? And they started following the traditions and the customs, of other gods. Read. I just wanted to hold that scripture, pull that scripture out, because that'll hold some people from being confused. It'll give them a little bit more enlightenment as we continue on in our study about what was going on, who were the Gentiles and why they were called Gentiles. Read.
Hosea chapter 1, verse 10.
Read.
Yet the number of the children of Israel
The number of the children of Israel
shall be as the sand of the sea.
It's going to be like the sand of the sea.
Which cannot be measured nor numbered.
And
it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people,
Read.
There it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God.
Same thing that Romans 24 was saying. You see, it's talking about the northern kingdom. Stop going around hollering about you are a Gentile. Because if you keep hollering about you are a Gentile, you are only saying that you ready for what? To be killed. You ready to die. You ready not to even be able to get to the kingdom. You hollering about you are what? Gentiles. They're talking about the Grecians. Get it right. Start to understand it. And stop having grandmama and all them liars telling you something what the preacher told them, what the seminary man told the preacher. Now you're in a docile state. Now you don't know what's going on because you've been taught lies. And now that you've been taught so many lies, it's hard for you to be able to accept this truth. Because all you have been taught is lies all your life. So you're going to have to be like a little child, and you're going to have to be retaught all over again. Read.
Verse 11. Then shall the children of Judah
Read.
And the children of Israel.
See, then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel, the southern and the northern kingdom, read.
Be gathered together. And appoint themselves one head.
And appoint themselves one head, because if you keep the laws, statutes, and commandments, you are above all people on the face of the earth, and there is no one that is qualified to be over you. That's why we're not supposed to vote. We're not supposed to be doing none of those pagan ways, because we're supposed to get someone that's of our kindred or our tribe to be over us, somebody that's equal to us, not somebody that's below us. Read.
And they shall come up out of the land.
And they shall come up out of your same land that you're in.
For great shall be the day of Jezreel.
Of who?
Jezreel.
See? Great shall be that day of Jezreel. See? You're supposed to have someone from your own country that's going to be over you. Because originally no one is qualified to be over you. No one is qualified to even teach you. In the book of Revelations, chapter 7. Verse 4 and 5. It's over there in Revelation, where it tell you that the only people that was qualified to open those books were Judah. They were the only one that were qualified to open the book. Where's that, sister? Is it 5 and 4? Revelation 5 and 4. No. Read.
Revelation chapter 5 and 5. And one of the elders said unto me, Weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah.
The Lion of the tribe of who?
Judah. The root of David.
The root of who?
Of David.
Jesse's son. Read.
Hath prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof.
You see, that's what it's talking about. You are the only one that is qualified. No one else, no other tribe, especially not the heathens. Read.
Hebrews chapter 8, verse 8.
Read, brother.
For founding forth with them.
See, he found fault with the southern, northern and the southern kingdom, because the northern kingdom, the southern kingdom, they came and started doing some stupid things too. Read.
He said, "Behold, the days come," saith the Lord,
Read.
"when I will make a new covenant."
When I will make a new covenant. Read.
With the house of Israel. And with the house of Judah.
With the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Judah is the southern kingdom, and Israel is the northern kingdom. Read, brother.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers. Read.
In the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt.
Lead them out of the land of Egypt, out of captivity. Read.
Because they continued not in my covenant.
Because they continued not in my covenant. They started doing the same thing that the northern kingdom were doing. They were doing all sorts of things, dealing with other gods, dealing with other people, doing all the things that were contrary against what God had already established for them. Read.
And I regard them not, saith the Lord.
Read.
For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel.
What does it say, brother? Read.
After those days,
come on,
saith the Lord, I will put my laws unto their mind.
He gonna put his what?
Unto their minds.
Read.
And write them in their hearts. And I will be to them a God. And they shall be to me a people.
They're going to be their God. They're going to be his people. That means that what? He's fully grafted them. The covenant is that he's going to graft them back in so that they can be one stick, because before the separation in the book of 1 Kings, starting at verse 12, it was talking about the separation of the northern and the southern kingdom. Now he's talking about bringing them back into the fold as one stick. Not it's going to be this tribe or that tribe. He's bringing them back in as one tribe, as one, the Israelites. Read.
Ephesians chapter 1, verse 1.
Read, sister.
Paul, an apostle of Yahushua,
Read.
By the will of God, to the saints which are at Ephesus, Ephesus, and to the faithful in Hamakia Yahushua.
See, he's talking about the saints. You know, who is the saints? The saints, because it's very important to know who the saints are, because the saints are going to be the one that's going to judge the world. See, the Israelites are the saints, not no Gentiles. You are the Israelite. You will have a special assignment. That's why you cannot be dealing and doing what the other nations do. You have to separate yourself from them and their ways so that you can be used properly to do what it is that God have you to do. Read.
Psalms chapter 148, verse 14.
Read, brother.
He also exalted the horns of his people.
He exalted the horns of his people. See, there we go again. His people. It didn't say anything about he exalted the horns of the world. He said he exalted the horns of his people, who he has been sent to deal with. Read.
The praise of all his saints.
The praise of all his saints.
Even of the children of Israel.
Even of the children of Israel. Those are the saints. Those are the ones that's going to judge the world. Those are the ones that have been separated, that has been set apart to be able to do what it is that God have them to do. You cannot be a saint and do what God have you to do when you're being contrary to what his will is for you. He can't use you. And that's why things has been on pause, because of the southern and the northern kingdoms' disobedience. But when he formed the new covenant, he's bringing you back into the fold. He's bringing you back to make one stick so that you can be qualified to be able to be the judges. Read.
Psalms chapter 50, verse 5.
Read, sister.
Gather my saints together.
Gather who together?
My saints together.
No, gather the heathens together.
My saints together.
Read on.
Unto me. Those that have made a covenant.
Wait a minute. Who covenant was made with? Wasn't it made in the book of Hebrews 8 and 8? Wasn't it made with the southern and northern kingdom? With Israel and Judah? Read.
Made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
See? Read it one more time, sister.
Gather my saints together.
Gather my saints together unto me.
Those that have made a covenant with me.
With me.
By sacrifice.
By sacrifice. You see? You're not no Gentile. You're an Israelite. Stop wanting to be somebody that's going to be destitute. Stop wanting to be someone that's going to be what? In captivity. Stop wanting to be someone that's going to continue to be on the bottom and not on the top. Read.
Acts chapter 18 and verse 19.
Read that, brother.
And he came to Ephesus and left them there, but he himself entered unto the synagogues and reasoned with the Jews.
And did reason with who?
With the Jews.
No, he reasoned with the Gentiles.
The Jews.
Read.
When they desired him to tarry longer time with them, he consulted not.
He consented not. He said that. Read that again. Read 19 again, brother.
Acts chapter 18, verse 19. And he came to Ephesus.
And this is Paul. Read.
And left them there. But he himself entered unto the synagogue and reasoned with the Jews.
He went to the synagogue and he reasoned with the Jews. You see what I'm saying? Now read 20.
When they desired him to tarry longer time with them, he consulted not.
He consented not. You see, he's only dealing with who? The Jews. He's not dealing with the Gentiles. What's happening here is that Paul, the reason he had this thorn in his side because he was dealing with who? He was dealing with the northern kingdom. And the northern kingdom was the worst that it was. They did all sorts of things. You see? Peter was dealing with us. Peter was dealing with the southern kingdom. Paul was dealing with the northern kingdom. And that's why he had so many burdens. And he did so much travel because we were spread out so many places and we were doing wicked things. And Paul was suffering. He suffered so much for the Hellenized Jews. Read.
Acts chapter 17, verse 1.
Read, sister.
Now when they had passed through Equalites and Apollonia, they came to Thessalonica, where was a synagogue of the Jews.
No, that was the synagogue of the Gentiles.
Of the Jews.
No, that was the synagogue of the Greeks.
Of the Jews.
That was the synagogue of the Jews. It don't tell you nothing about no Gentiles. It's talking about the Jews. Why are you continuing to want to be something that you're not? Why you continue to want to be something that is going to be destroyed? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't understand the teaching. I don't understand anything. I'm puzzled why you continue to want to be in that state. You want to be those kind of people that did all sorts of things against your God. Read.
2 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 6.
Now we're fixing to get to the nitty gritty because the Maccabees and stuff, they're going to start to telling you about what's going on because this is talking about the Greek captivity and it's talking about the Grecians. Okay? Read, brother.
Neither was it lawful
Read.
for a man to keep 7 days.
Wait a minute. It was what now? Say that again.
Neither was it lawful for a man to keep 7 days.
Neither was it lawful for a man to keep the 7th day.
Or ancient feasts.
Or what?
Or ancient feasts.
Or ancient feasts.
Or to possess himself at all to be a Jew.
He couldn't even say that he was a Jew. Read that again, brother.
2 Maccabees chapter 6 verse 6.
Read.
Neither was it lawful for a man to keep 7 days.
It wasn't even lawful for a man to keep the laws, the statutes, commandments, to keep God's 7th day. You couldn't even do that. Read.
Or ancient feasts.
Or ancient what?
Or ancient feasts.
Ancient feasts.
Or to possess himself at all to be a Jew.
You couldn't even say that you was a Jew. You couldn't even say who you was. You see? Those are the people that was what? That was programmed, that were forced to follow what the king wanted. Antiochus, he wanted them to do those things. And so they had to go by what the king said, or else they would what? Read, brother?
And in the day of the king's birth.
In the days of the king's birth.
Every month they were brought by bitter constraint.
Read.
To eat of the sacrifice. And when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus, carrying ivy.
Read.
Moreover, there went out a decree.
They went out a decree, an order, a demand, a commandment. Read.
To the neighbor cities of the heathen.
The neighboring cities of the heathens. The heathens are the Gentiles. The heathens are the Grecians, who we call Greeks today. Read.
By the suggestion of Tony against the Jews.
Against who?
Against the Jews.
Read.
That they should observe the same faction and be partakers of their sacrifices.
See, they came and they told the Jews they got to do the same thing that they doing. You see? Read.
And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles.
Who would not conform themselves to the manner of the Gentile, follow those ways, customs, and tradition, celebrating birthdays and all that stuff, praising the king. Read.
Should be put to death.
Should be what?
Be put to death.
Read.
Then night a man have seen the present mystery.
They were miserable. They were miserable. They were having to do so many things. They were having to do all the things that was against their God. Why? Because of their disobedience. Because they're in what? The Greek captivity right now. You see? They're in the Greek captivity. And so they had to abide by what it was that the Grecians were doing. So what did that make them? That made them what? That made them Gentiles by customs, traditions, and force. Not by the flesh. Not by what they were originally words. They became Hellenized Jews. That's what they became. They became Hellenized Jews. Jews that didn't know they were Jews. Jews that had to do something else other than what they were supposed to do as far as their customs. Read.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 41 through 43.
Read.
Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom.
Read.
That all should be one people.
Wait a minute. That all should be one people. Now, if he's saying that they all should be one people, that means that the heathens, which is the Gentiles, and the Jews, which are the Israelites, they had to be on one accord. Read.
42. And everyone shall leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment.
All the who agreed?
All the heathen.
All the heathens agreed. Read.
According to the commandment.
According to the commandment.
Of the king.
Of who?
Of the king.
Of the king. Read.
43. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath.
They did what?
Profaned the Sabbath.
They profaned the Sabbath.
Read 44.
Read 44.
For the king had sent letters by messengers into Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land.
That they should follow the strange laws of what?
Of the land.
Of the Gentiles' land. See? You were a Gentile by force. That's how you was a Gentile. You wasn't a Gentile by anything else. And so what I want you to do right now for me, sister, I want you to read for me the book of First Maccabees. I want you to read chapter 1, verse 60 and verse 61.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 60. And which,
go ahead.
At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women.
They put to death certain women
that had seized their children.
That had did what, sister?
Seized their children.
That had seized their children.
To be circumcised. 61.
Read.
And they hanged the infants about their necks.
As they hanged our children. Read.
And raffled their houses and slew them that they had circumcised them.
Read on.
62. Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing.
They didn't care. They was not going to eat or do any of those abominable things. Read.
Wherefore they chose rather to die.
They chose what, sister?
Rather to die.
They chose rather to die. Read.
That they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant.
The holy what?
Covenant.
Read.
So then they died. And there was very great wrath upon Israel.
You see that those are Hellenized Jews that had to follow the customs and the traditions of the heathens. If they didn't follow those customs and traditions, they would be put to death. But the Bible is saying that some did get put to death because they refused to do the ways of the heathens. You see, that's not this Bible is the truth. You ain't no daggone Gentile. You're not a Gentile by the flesh. You're a Gentile by what you had to do because you was up under all kind of misery. You was up under all kind of trouble. And all these things come in part to disobedience to your God. Not keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments. Read.
Luke chapter 1, verse 31.
Read, brother.
And behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb.
Read.
And bring forth a son.
And bring forth a son.
And shall call his name Yahusha.
And what?
And shall call his name Yahusha.
Read, brother.
He shall be great.
He shall be what?
He shall be great.
Read.
He and shall be called the Son of the Highest, and the Lord God shall give unto him the throne of his father David.
Read.
And he shall reign over the house of Jacob forever.
He shall rule over the house of Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel. And he should rule over them forever. It's not talking about he's going to be over the house of the Gentile. He said that he's going to rule over the house of Jacob. He's not talking about all these other nations. He's only talking about one nation, the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, whose the father is who? It's Jacob. Jacob is the father of the 12 tribes. His name became Israel through the covenant. Read what you got, sister.
Verse Ezra.
Read.
Chapter 8, verse 69. The nation of Israel, the princes, the priests of Levi.
Read that again, sister.
The nation of Israel, the princes the nation of Israel, the princes, the priests, and Levites have not put away from them the strange people.
They have not put away. They have not put away from them what, sister?
The strange people of the land, nor the pollutions of the Gentiles.
See, nor the pollution of the Gentiles. Read.
To wit of the Canaanites, the Hittites,
Read.
Perizzites, Jebusites,
Read.
and the Moabites, Egyptians,
Read.
and the Edomites.
Those are all the people that they are classifying as being Gentiles. Read that again, sister.
The nation of Israel. The nation of Israel, the princes, the priests, the Levites have not put away from them the strange people of the land.
They have not put away from them the strange people of the land.
For the pollution of the Gentiles, the wit of the Canaanites, Hittites, Perizzites, Jebusites, and the Moabites, Egyptians, and the Edomites.
See, all those are the heathens. All those are the Gentiles. But the Bible says that they have not put away these things, the strange people of the land, nor the pollution of the Gentiles, to wit, the Canaanites, the Africans, the Hittites, the Africans, the Perizzites, Africans, Jebusites, Africans, the Moabites, the Chinese, the Egyptians, Africans, and the Edomites, the white folks. You see, you got to know who these names of these people are in order to be able to identify with them in the Bible, because it's going to speak of them in those terms all through the Bible. And you want to be able to what? Identify who the enemy is. Read.
70. For both they and their sons have married with daughters, and the holy seed is mixed with strange.
They mix the holy seed. Now it's not as potent and as powerful as it's supposed to be. It's just like what? The same way that Ephraim was. It was a cake not mixed. They turned from a dark-skinned people to a light-skinned people. Read.
It's mixed with strange people of the land. And from the beginning of this matter.
From the beginning of this matter, when they was talking about in the book of Hosea, Ephraim, read.
The rulers and the great men have been partakers of this iniquity.
Even the one that's supposed to be our governing body, even the one that's supposed to be our decision makers, even the one that's supposed to have been our gatekeepers, they were mixed with them more so than anybody else was. So we didn't have anybody to correct us, because the one that was supposed to be doing it, they were doing it worse than anybody else was. Read what you got, brother.
Tobit chapter 13, verse 1.
Read.
Then Tobit wrote a prayer of rejoicing.
He wrote a prayer of rejoicing. Read.
And said, Blessed be God.
Blessed be who?
Blessed be God.
Read.
That liveth forever, and blessed be his kingdom.
Blessed be his kingdom, the kingdom of Israel. God's kingdom is his people. God's kingdom is the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. And he say, blessed be his kingdom. Read.
For he doeth scourge and have mercy. He letteth down to hell.
He lead down to hell.
And bring it up again.
And nobody can't do nothing about it. Read.
Neither is there any that can avoid his hand.
Can't nobody do anything about it. He has all power in his hand. Nobody can do anything about it. When he does something, that's final. That's why these white folks and all these people they're in charge of us today. We're the strongest and powerful people in the world. So you know it has to be God that's causing them to continue to be what? On the top and us on the bottom. Because we continue to this day to be what? Disobedient, stiff-necked, and hard-headed to our God. Read.
Confess him before the Gentiles.
Wait a minute. If you're a Gentile, why is he saying confess them to the Gentile? Read that again.
Confess him before the Gentiles.
Confess him before the Gentiles.
Ye children of Israel.
Ye children of who?
Ye children of Israel.
You see? He say confess them. Ye children of Israel. Read.
For he hath scattered us among them.
Give me the book of James, chapter 1 and 1, sister. I want you to read that again, brother. Read that again.
Chapter 13 and verse 3.
Read.
Confess him.
Confess him.
Before the Gentiles.
Before the Gentiles.
Ye children of Israel.
Ye children of Israel.
For he hath scattered us among them.
For he has scattered us among them. Read what you got, sister.
James chapter 1, verse 1.
Read.
James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ,
Read.
To the 12 tribes which were scattered abroad. Reading.
You see? He's talking about the Israelites. They're the ones that were scattered abroad when they was going on those slave ships. They were dropped off on all four corners of the earth. So if you was to see a brother over in Cambodia, if you were to see a brother over in China, if they got the pigmentation of your skin, you can believe that they're going through the same thing that you're going through over here in America. It's just a different location, but the same situation. Read.
Acts chapter 2, verse 1.
Read, sister.
And when the day of Pentecost was fully come.
Read.
They were all with one accord.
In
one place. And suddenly there came a sound from heaven.
Read.
As of a rushing mighty wind.
And
it filled all the house where they were sitting.
Read.
3. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues, like as of fire, and it sat upon them of them.
See, that's not even talking about, that's what's going on in the church. They were speaking in tongues. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? All that old jive. Read on.
Verse 4. And they were all filled with the Holy Ghost. Now,
I want you guys to get this right here. This is very important. Read, sister.
And began to speak other tongues. As the Spirit gave them utterance.
What was going on now that the Holy Spirit was against all on those men? Because what? They kept the law, statutes, and commandments. So what happened? That means if you spoke Spanish and you spoke German and I spoke English, when I spoke to you, you understood it. When you spoke to me, I understood it. When you spoke to us, we understood what it was that you were saying and vice versa. It wasn't no such thing as people talking off in tongue and you had to have somebody to interpret this and that. That's not what this scripture is saying. Read, sister. Now, read.
Verse 5.
Now, listen at this. Read.
And they were dwelling at Jerusalem. Jews, devout men, out of every nation.
Read that again, sister. I can't believe that's just explaining that to you. Read.
5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem. Jews, devout men.
Devout men that was keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. That's why they had the Holy Spirit. Read.
Out of every nation under heaven.
There was Jews, devout men, out of every nation, out of all four corners. That's why he was telling Paul to go to the east, to the west, north, and the south, and preach to all people. It wasn't saying just to go there to preach to everybody, but he's going to say to preach to all the Israelites that had been scattered abroad. Even though some had to hear, the heathens had to hear it, but it was very important that the Israelites heard the word of God coming from Paul. That's what that was all about. Read.
First Maccabees chapter 8, verse 18.
Read, brother.
And to entreat them that they will take the yoke from them. For they saw that the kingdom of the Grecians.
Wait a minute. That they saw that the kingdom of what, brother?
The kingdom of the Grecians.
The kingdom of the Grecians. Who are the kingdom of the Grecians? They are talking about the Gentiles. Read.
Did oppress Israel with servitude.
You see, the Grecians, the Gentiles, they had us in servitude. That was one of the 7 captivities, the Greek captivities. Read that again for me, brother, please.
Maccabees chapter 8, verse 18.
Read.
And to entreat them that they will take the yoke from them.
Read.
For they saw that the kingdom of the Grecians.
That the kingdom of the Grecians
did oppress Israel with servitude.
That they were in bondage, that they were in slavery, that they oppressed them. So if you're a Gentile, how you going to get oppressed by a Gentile? The Gentile oppressed Israelites. Am I right, brothers and sisters? The Gentiles oppressed Israelites. The Gentile did not oppress Gentiles. They oppressed Israelites. Read what you got, sister.
Second Maccabees chapter 6, verse 4.
Read.
For the temple was filled with riots.
Wait a minute. The temple was filled with what?
The temple was filled with riots.
The temple was filled with riots.
And revealing by the Gentiles.
And they were what by who, sister?
Revealing by the Gentiles.
They were revealing by the Gentiles.
Who dallied with harlots.
Messed with whores.
And had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places. And besides, that brought in things that were not lawful.
They brought in all these things that were not lawful. Read 5.
Verse 5. The altar also was filled with profane things, which the law forbiddeth.
You see, everything they were doing to keep you what? To keep you in sin. Because the Gentiles, they knew that what? That they didn't have no right to the kingdom. They knew that they didn't have no right to salvation. So they was oppressing the people that had a right to salvation because they were mad and jealous with God because God picked you, Israel. That's what's happening. They are jealous and they are mad. They were mad then and they were jealous then, just like they are today. They do not change. They are the same. They are never going to change. They're never going to be your friends, but they're going to always be your enemy because they have disdain for you because God chose you. And with that, we say subscribe to our Israelite channels, or subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Facebook, our Twitter, Israelites.com. Not Equalites. Shalom.